Nothing else to improve. I just don't know what to look at when watching pro demos. What I'm trying to ask you is, what do you look at in demos? What do you watch? So what do I look at in demos? I'll brief over it pretty quick. What I look at when I'm watching a demo is completely different than what you're going to look at. Only maybe 5 or 10% is similar, right? So what I look at when I'm watching demos is first of all, I want to memorize. A lot of times when I watch demos is I'm doing it to observe my opponent. So if I'm watching Navi or whatever, I want to make sure I understand all the spots they're playing and the style of default they have, right? So if I'm watching a demo like Train, like what style of default do they have? How often do they send 3 Ivy early to op pick it to try to get a pick Ivy? How often are they taking Brown Hall control? How much noise do they make when they make Brown Hall control? When I say noise, I mean what nades are they throwing, right? It encapsulates a lot. How do they hold teammate? How much do they fight for teammate? Etc. Takes me like 5-10 minutes to look at one demo's T side. Do that for another demo. Takes like 20 or 30 minutes to watch like 2 or 3 T sides by fast forwarding through the useless eco rounds and stuff like that. Look for the key stuff. Boom, T side, CT side. I want to see spots. I want to see rotations. I want to see how they play with certain utility. So I have double ops. How do they play? Single op. How do they play? What's their most common setup? Single op. Okay. What's the 2 most common setups they play? How do they set up when they play 4 outside? How do they set up when they play 3 outside? Boom, boom, boom. Notes. 3 demos ish. Go through it. Notes. Both sides. That's it for like a quick review, right? If you're watching pros, you don't know the meta. You haven't competed at the meta. You're not going to compete against them right now. Maybe you will in the future if you're skilled. You might get to that point. What you need to be looking for is anything and everything that can illuminate your understanding of the game. So the hard thing is this, right? Whenever you want to learn, you need to hear, you need to see, you need to experience, right? So hearing is the same thing as is someone having a mentor and tell you. That's the hard thing to have, right? Not everyone has a mentor. Or seeing is visually seeing, reading, or in some sense, visually seeing or reading about, right? So watching a demo and then doing, right? So if you're watching a demo, right, the hard thing is like what you want to get from it when you're playing could be a spot, could be T-side, could be game sense. So you don't know what to look for, right? You're just watching all people play. When you're playing at that level, people play with a lot more intention. They leave less up to chance, right? There's some rounds where you say, that's why players like Simple and Zaiwu are so crazy. Because a lot of times, those are the few players on a team that listen to their intuition and have that intuition, right? A lot of people don't have that level of intuition. Like Zaiwu and Simple are like 95%. A lot of pros have like 85 or 90%. And so they don't trust it as much because they also don't have the skill to couple with it. There's people that are the exception that have the extra little bit more intuition and the extra little bit more skill. So they make a lot of individual plays that could look like idiots. Like there's a lot of times where you probably don't see it where Zaiwu and Simple have just went and done something and just got fucking blasted, right? But when they constantly are winning rounds for their team, you don't really hear about it. So the tough thing to get to that point is one, when you watch a pro demo, you can't expect to play against the same setups. Because even right now, I'm going to go play FPL. They're not playing the same way they would if I was playing these guys in a tournament. Like these guys might beat me right now like 16-9. If we were to play on LAN with the same lineups, we might beat them because there's more intention on both parties, which is going to make them try harder, which is going to make their decision making less random. The less random it is, the more I could predict it, the more I could counter them, and the more I could rely on them doing things that I think would make sense, right? So a lot of times what is a bad decision is a lot of amateurs, they say, oh, I'm just going to do the thing that doesn't make sense and play like an idiot. It's like, cool. Like if you want to get 20 frags in your pug and do a bunch of random plays, that's fine. As long as you know what you're doing is not repeatable and you're just learning a certain way to get kills by being random, that's fine. The second you play top level opponents, you start playing them on lands, your style that you think catches people off guard is going to work one time. And then the second you get scouted, they're going to counter that specific play. So unless you literally have 30 different plays on each half, which most people who think they're really good at pugging have like 3 or 4, those are going to get found out right away. So you're like aggressive plays to counter and things that they wouldn't expect, those don't work. So a lot of times when you're trying to get better at playing and watch demos, the tough thing for you to realize from watching demos is you don't want to be looking at their setups only and just like how the guy gets kills. You want to be looking at how he dies. You want to be looking at when he went and try to, if we're waiting to hit a bomb site, when they went to hit a bomb site, why they did something. But the problem is if you only watch, you're not hearing why they do that. You're not learning why they do that, and you're only seeing why they do it, and then you have to put it into action, right? So you can't really put it into action. So the toughest part about that middle ground of getting better at CS is you don't really have an environment to do it. So the way a lot of amateurs get better is by being introspective people and reflective people, right? If you just go watch a demo and expect to be able to repeat what he's doing and put it in a game, you're still missing the context of why he did it, even if you repeat it. So in order to understand the context, you got to understand the pro level of play. How will you understand that by just watching? You won't. You have to be in it, either experiencing it or hearing it from somebody else. So the only way to get to it, like I said, is to be reflective. And you're still not going to get there. But the way that you get there by being reflective is at every stage when your skill and mechanics are improving through what? Through repetition, aim training, DM, which only does this part of it. You're coupling that with reflecting on what you do versus, and also seeing what you're learning by watching demos. And then you hope to inch a little forward. Now, what happens when you inch a little forward is you get to play with better players. gamers. And then that's the final piece of the puzzle. Literally, best example, real example, Stewie, 2K, right? He joined our team on Cloud9. He was very good and he had a very good intuition. I could see it right away. I told him, hey, you're probably going to be one of the best players on our team. And he was just like, like, you know, kind of young when he joined the team. He didn't really know what the fuck I was telling him. You'd probably be one of the best players on the team. I could see it. Your comms are very clear and concise. I could see the way you're thinking about the game. Give it a couple tournaments. Literally, it took him one big tournament. We played a couple online events. We went to Gamers Cup or something, or Gamers Paradise, or whatever it was in Lithuania. And we played against G2, and I remember this conversation I had with him on Cash. He saw how they were rotating, and it was already what he assumed, but by experiencing it and seeing it and then having a conversation of like, oh, Shock just does this every time he smokes spikes, fall back here. And he's like, what the fuck? It's so simple. This is the system this team is following. And then what he did is he started extrapolating that thought process to every team he started playing and be like, oh, I could see patterns. All I have to do to see the pattern is see what they do under pressure. And what they do under pressure is limited to 3 or 4 different styles. They might change it every couple months, which is why player breaks are key and time periods. That's why you see teams get countered after no breaks after a time because they have a limited amount of things. So he would start talking to me, oh, look, they're doing this, this, and this. We should just try this. I'm like, that's a great idea. And that's when he started realizing what I was telling him. Like, you're going to be fucking good. I see you have the mindset. You just haven't seen the things yet. So anyways, it's a long explanation, but I want you guys to realize a lot of you, what you're asking me is how to get better when you ask how to watch a demo. You got to realize pugging and solo queuing all day, you're just not going to get that good. Stewie and a lot of people who pugged all day were playing with players that they're definitely better than now, but at the time, those players like Ocean, etc., were more experienced than them. So they were able to kind of sprinkle on little tidbits, and then that player gets to the next step, and they grab tidbits from over here, and then that player gets to the next step, and they might, depending on how good they are, they're progressing each step further and further, right? So when you want to progress, you got to realize all these things are factors. So when you say, what can I get from demos? You can get everything and you can get nothing from demos, because if you don't understand what you're looking for, you're just going to be ADD the whole demo. You're going to be like, what the fuck am I, what's going on? You have no focus, right? But as you get better, you start to learn focus. Why did this guy rotate at a certain time? Why are they playing 3 outside on train? Oh, they have low utility, or they have high utility, so they're okay to play 3 outside because they still have 2 smokes on the outside guys. That means if they start seeing nades come over, they're going to be able to smoke off ladder, team mid train, and delay, and the rotator comes out. Okay, they have high nades. Why are they playing 4 outside? Oh, they have an operator and he's playing passive. Those are simple things you could observe if you really pay attention, right? But it's going to be hard for you to connect those dots right away. You might just be like, they don't have a lot of nades, but they're doing the same set of last round, so I don't understand why they did it. That's why, like, you really need to do all 3 things, right? Reflect and be introspective on your own play. A lot of people just aren't. They just aren't. They just play all day, they look at their stats, and they just correlate, am I getting more frags the longer I play? And they don't really think about the game. It's a long process, but, you know, I hope you guys caught what I was saying in there. It's a combination of having mentors. Mentorships doesn't need to be your own mentor, right? That's why, like, my course or YouTube, I teach a lot of basics, but, like, anytime you can watch a pro player stream and you want to go pro, it's a good idea, because you might pick up one little thing, one play, one move, and then even if you don't understand the move, you could steal it, which is fine. I told you earlier, that's not going to send you to pro. Copying people isn't going to send you to pro, but if you can start copying some of the moves while studying, while getting mentorship, while getting experience, all these things are going to compound, and that's how you, boop, next level. You do all this shit out here, and then, boop, next level. It's a very slow climb. Some people get there faster than others because they're naturally talented and have really good aim and dexterity, whatever, but I've played with a lot of pros who have worse mechanical skill than a lot of people I play against in, like, semi-pro who will never probably go pro because their mind for the game and their presence in the server just isn't there, meaning their comms isn't there, they don't have the confidence, and no one's going to hold their hand to that point. And so it's like, that's why FPL and like Ranked S is pretty cool, because there's a lot of opportunity for people to have their hand pseudo held, so to speak, by playing with better players.